did in LAN? And if so, then this is going to be a hard fight for Penta.
Yeah, they've been playing in the Russian Nationals as well, with LAN coming up very soon. So there's quite a bit here for the team to show off with. Now, our map ban, we'll go through it, and we'll end up playing on Bank, which is a map that is hit or miss for Penta, especially their attack has been very weak on it, if you look at it historically. Empire's offense of it, however, was excellent throughout the ages, especially with the Jackal.
Yeah, and that's something I imagine we'll see quite a bit from Joystick. He has kind of alternated between playing Jackal and IQ. He was struggling on Jackal for a while, but I feel like he's finally picked it up a little bit better now. And of course, the community vote going the way you'd expect pretty much. A lot of Penta fans out there, but there's only so much hope you can have against the Empire.
That's what we said about G2 versus Chaos, and that was a big surprise. So, hey, who knows? Maybe the whole thing can just be flipped on its head. We head into Bank for our second matchup of the evening, and we start off our ban phase in just a tiny, tiny moment here. Of course, Penta Sports currently the French national champions and the German national champions. However, we've had a change, by the way, for people that did not watch out for that a couple of days ago. For any Germans, Swiss, or Austrians that are playing, there will be the German, Swiss, and Austrian nationals coming very, very soon. So keep your eye out for that.
I just reminded that it's kind of funny. These two fought each other back in Milan before it was the other Milan final too. So this is kind of a rematch.
And Empire still won.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny thinking back to that. But the ban's coming out of Monty getting banned here. Not a huge surprise, as Monty can be very strong on this map in particular. Penta's got a decent Monty play. The Habana being banned also not unusual at all, but we'll see a ton of Maverick play to compensate. Mira getting banned means that basement is a little bit less threatening, although it's a little more of a pain to deal with because you've got to Maverick the hatches, but it'll get done. It always does. Unless you got some really, really good server stairs control. Maestro getting taken out as well means a little bit less intel coming out downstairs especially. But it means Echo's still in place. We could see him hanging out in the garage, for example. Something we see quite a bit of. But it depends on individual play. So we'll find out soon how it's going to go. I got to imagine where we're going to be starting in the basement. Yep, of course. All the way down to Locker's CCTV room. Where else would you go? Captao again getting played by Joystick this time. Now he could six-pick over to the Jackal, but you know what?
He's played quite a bit of Capitao. I mean,
might just stick it.
We overlaid in the intro for Milan, or the video recap of the online season. We had Joystick playing Oregon, dumping on all of his opponents, basically just playing a T3 in Oregon and Tower, and he does pretty much the exact same thing. If you overlay that footage, it's pretty much a repeat of it. He's an excellent Capitao player. The 249 should be coming out here. Yeah. Shouldn't surprise anyone, and Penta Sports will go for the basement as their first play. Now, I'm not sure if their coach is actually here. She's currently, it's Jess, by the way, she's currently in the Netherlands, in The Hague, as far as I know. I'm not sure if she is actually supporting them tonight for the game. So this might be a position where Penta are playing all on their own.
It's interesting, too, to see that they teased that maybe this wasn't the bomb site they were going to play with that castle pick, because you don't really pick castle for the basement and then 6 picked over to the Valkyrie to hide the fact that there's going to be those black eyes, not give Empire the chance to, say, switch to something like IQ to be able to do something about them. So if they don't realize there's black eyes in play for a while here, that could be very helpful, although I got to imagine good chance Valkyrie will get spotted at some point. But I like the little bit of subterfuge there to kind of trick Empire into not necessarily knowing what the site will be. But they've got a good setup for it. Of course, they've got the 2 hard breachers with the Maverick to be able to take care of the hatches, and then the Thermite to be able to take care of the wall and or a hatch if need be. We'll see how that goes down inside there. Already still outside of the building for the moment. Hasn't managed to make it in just yet, but they are definitely looking for any freebie picks they might be able to get early on. Post play as well means it's definitely going to be C4 fun to try and get into the actual bomb site, as he's very likely to be hanging out in Gold Vault, although he could be playing in servers at the moment. Some aggressive pulses will play behind the server or just to be able to watch the sewers. We do have someone trying to control server stairs, and this is where, of course, Empire is going to try and take. Capitao will absolutely help with that, though. The ability to hit those fire arrows and kind of push people away from the entrance to the server stairs, pushing them further back, does mean that you're able to approach a little bit easier against shotguns especially.
Now, the Habana ban has definitely an effect. It doesn't allow you the same level of flexibility, right? But we've seen so much great Maverick play that it kind of gets put by the side. Yeah, it's more flexibility, but you're not going to bring all 3 hard breachers together, right? See, maybe if Scyther here is open up the entire hatch at the correct level. He's left with 2.5 charges here. close to it.
A little greedy.
Yeah, he already can't open up an extra one. And there was a few mistakes made here and there, finally. It'll be taken away. You can open a bit of an extra angle later on, but there's Karjeka actually moving in from the tunnel, which is not something that gets used that long or that much.
Was that a yokai
nowadays.
spotted and shot? That's definitely going to be a problem for Sir Boss. Now this is his other yokai that's left. He's hanging out, at least with the yokai in the garage. Wall getting open already with a minute left, but they haven't done anything about the pulse. They don't have anything to do about the echo just yet. There's still smoke on the board. They are far, far from planting, and with less than a minute left, this is going to be tricky.
It's going to be tricky specifically because of the echo, but he has to watch the Magnet Sir Boss, as you were mentioning him. But also, having Ravon playing the pulse is something of very standard play, and Sir Boss playing here from the garage is going to be a very tough position to crack, really, if you're on the attacking side here, because that angle, it can be played by an echo, it can be played by a maestro. Literally anybody can just keep on tapping away. Karjeka will find Hungry, so taking the smoke out and pre-fire into the back, as Sir Boss will be alive for just a moment. Dan will toss EMP down. That's the first smoke to be played in, and Dan will actually find the kill. Sir Boss eliminated, and the flank completely open. Joystick getting up close. The Shepherd will get shot down, but that's all the Nitro Cell you had. Blast is nowhere near to be found here. An enemy will get shot down on the side. Joystick taken away. Ravon can dive on in, but Karjeka's already in to support his teammates, and 2 kills will be found by Karjeka. To the best European players, basically. Karjeka specifically, definitely one of the best right now. And just locking down all of Penta Sports. Empire surviving with 3 to 4 players at the end.
Big problem for Penta. There was way too much peeking from the red hallway. I mean, the utility coming out from Empire was great to be able to push that the way they used the Capital Bolt. You saw one fire behind into the red hallway behind the hole to be able to stop people from being able to play in that position to easily C4 the planter. They still did get one C4 off, managed to get a kill from that, but that was a bit more of the bait at that point. They did have the smoke as well to cover it, but then that forced everyone to peek the one position, the long angle that they had from the doorway, to try and counter Empire, and in doing so, it seemed to get pre-fired over and over by Karjeka, and he just got free kill after free kill trying to play against that, and that was a big problem for Penta. They didn't have a good flank setup, they didn't have a good position, and then you saw Scyther as well rotate around to the stairs and be able to get kill from main stairs as well onto the Jaeger. That was a great play overall. Karjeka, you can see with the 3-piece from last round. Fantastic play, just suppress, fire your utility, bait out their utility, and then continue to suppress them while you get the plant down. Even the Capito actually running in and going prone beneath the hole as well. Just overall a great execute from Empire, just full use of their utility, and it's good they didn't have to burn too much of it early, that they couldn't use it then. The nice thing is you can even deny, if you have some of the Thatcher turrets left, you can even deny the pulse a bit. If you can get a EMP in there, it denies his ability to use his gadget temporarily.
It's something that you can use later on, but it really depends on where the Echo is going to play most of the time, right?
And that's the thing, is where was the Echo? And that losing one drone early on might have cost him a bit, and he didn't have the other one in a good position yet because he was focused on the garage.
Yeah, he was playing in the garage the whole time as well, so that's why he didn't really have an impact. And as he turned around to try and get a shot down on his opponent's position where the Maestro would usually be playing, well, that's when you had a great play from Dan to just shut him down. Now, one thing I want to say, we're talking about DreamHack Valencia. The groups have just been announced. So all 4 groups with 4 BYOC teams that are joining the rest. Chaos, Penta, and Father's Back are playing in Group A. Lustream, Rogue, and Navi in Group B. Reciprocity Team 1 and TSM in C. Group D with FaZe, Vitality, and C9. Yet again, with 4 teams from the BYOC side of the tournament. Bring your own computer to be joining them. That's it. We're back very quickly to the game here. So that's a bit of hot fire spitting out. Joystick on his own on top.
They are missing the Jackal a bit for sure, but in this case, if it's just a retry of CCTV, then it doesn't really matter as much. Love that umbrella for doing that. Makes it so much easier to get down there. Well, Joystick looking for an opportunity. Tries to make one, but they're just... Oh! Him, Blaz is completely on top of it. You can't continue to give yourself away like that. He did lose a lot of health in the process, and there we go. Thankfully finished off actually from the fire after Joystick's death there, cremating his opponent.
So Dan takes half damage there, but it's a big kill on the Legion. He's not going to be an operator to really worry about later on in the round, but enemy is still upstairs, and he's going to be solo in the kitchen or area here. He's going to be found as he takes down Dan. Camera taken away in the hallway. Scyther will grab the info on the Jaeger. Refrag needs to happen ASAP, and Karjeka has to worry about 2 angles from his opponents. Already some support from the Thermite, but the defenders are getting a bit ballsy here and trying to move all the way up Should have been a reinforcement here. There's a Yokai drone to support the defense, but Scyther, even through the Yokai, Shockwave, be able to find the kill on enemy. So now forcing everybody back down. A minute left, Penta are at the helm with both, well, all of the Yokai with the Echo, the Pulse, and the Smoke. They're great operators to have at this point in the round.
Well, it is a 3v3, but I gotta say, Penta got a lot out of playing that roam play. They took out some of the utility. Taking out both the Capitão and the Thatcher actually is really strong in nerfing some of this attack here. A lot of it's just gonna depend on gunfire, and then some of the lifeline, I suppose, can be useful in this, but overall, a lot of the utility that was crucial that we saw last round for this taken away by that. They do at least have server stairs control and things like that, but overall, I gotta say Penta won this round just off of their roam, if they can continue to win the gunfights and delay for 20 seconds.
Now that's the big question mark. It's gonna be enough for Penta Sports. Nitro Cell in the back pocket of the Pulse. Kajik has taken some damage from the smoke. It'll force the Thermite back for just a moment. Scyther will walk in and lose the fight to Hungry as he looks down through the red hallway. The plant needs to go, but a perfect Nitro Cell from Revon will shut it down. Not much for Empire here to do. They lost so much early on. They'd only lost one player. Maybe it would have been more doable, but in this case, yeah, not a great spot.
It's more than just the operators that they lost, too. Crucial. I definitely feel like that's a round Joystick on Jackal would have paid off, and he's just going to go for it this time, saying the Capitão was great. It was fantastic for that take, but they're not playing there anymore. So let's get off that. It's time for Jackal. It's time to start to track them down, get an idea where they're going to be playing, and of course, they're going to see that here in the reveal. Got to mention Alibi going to be pretty useful in this. Probably going to stick on that. 6 pick is from the dock instead. They keep wanting to hide that they're going to be playing that Valkyrie. Not really anything coming out to counter it. There's, again, no IQ pick coming out. But overall, the utility is fine from Empire for Teller's attack here. We'll see if they end up needing, for example, the EMPs to be able to try and get the walls open, as there's just a mute and no bandit or anything like that. So they should be able to, I think, adequately open the walls, because you're not going to be mute tricking that. So it's really depending on the approach. You see the walls Sir Boss is reinforcing. They could come in. That way they can come in the wall. Well, the wall that Hungry was shooting, it looks like they're going to leave soft, as well as they can come in from the admin side, the open area, which at the moment also is not reinforced, it looks like. So may not even need Shepard to do a ton of work with the thermite charges, other than maybe coming in from the Teller side. Top floor control going to be important. You see that. That's part of the reason the reinforcements weren't used downstairs, is they're going to be setting some up here. Quite a bit, actually. They really want to seal off this janitor closet. In fact, may end up seeing a situation where they end up using the thermite charges to blow from the janitor closet, as Shepard, the thermite, actually with his drone inside it. We'll see if they end up with a castle barricade to close that up as well, but doesn't look like it at the moment. So really about a lot of time denial here coming out from Penta. The roam for that last round working well, so kind of doubling down on that, but with a bit more utility to help, and a lot of upstairs defense. Joystick's really going to have his work cut out for him, and hopefully not get fragged while staring at footprints.
He's going to need his entire team to kind of help him out on this. Kajika has been present, but it's mostly in refrag roles. It hasn't really been there just to support with the pure utility on the execute. I know Empire are very confident in their play style, but kind of still need someone to support you in there. Now Jackal Track will come out, so they'll have info on one player in the back. They spot the castle on his own. Joystick will run back with his drone here as he spawns all the mute jammers that are set around the site. And Kajika will start firing down to just destroy as much as possible, and supporting bits of this build on the site in the back. Still a drone here, probably caught by mute jammers. Joystick continues to fire on down, and the castle has to be eliminated before push comes down to the bottom floor. There's a Zofia with breaching charges. Yes, that is very true. So you can use that for your assault, as well as Joystick with his ITA. The scan in the back will reveal the mute, but Hunger's a bit too far away to deal with. No, he's actually in Janitor, so they know where he's at. They can keep track of him in the meantime, and the castle's going to be public enemy number 1. The pre-fire in from Joystick, taking a bit of damage from the side. Turns around for the pre-fire as well. Blast taking a bit extra damage, and finally he gets down. Will get hurt and taken away.
Unfortunately, Joystick kept hitting the Alibi as well, the Prisma, and getting tracked, but kills coming out left and right. Hungry getting traded, or trading Dan as well.
It's a huge kill there on the Thermite. Sure, you have the Maverick to use, but he's not really your main bit of destruction, of just hard destruction. So you're going to have to deal with having limited execution possibilities on A, and you're not able to just open up the entire wall to go through. Hungry is playing downstairs, though, in the open area all solo, and he's in the small office on his own and will rotate down. It's got a rotation hole as well that's been set up for it. And he will get scanned again, so Empire have that info, but so much time has already been burned off. 38 seconds left, and Empire will have to assault in just a bit of time.
Yeah, that top floor control that I was talking about really did its job in delaying. I mean, you're getting jackal tracks and stuff going, but look how long it took them just to kill the castle. Karjek had to fall as well next. This is falling apart for Penta quick.
Oh, enemy turning around as Sir Boss will find one more. Joystick last alive and hungry with a headshot. All the way in from open area, as Penta Sports will secure a second round for them. Empire really unable to find a way to crack this tough nut of Penta Sports.
Yeah, this is looking like Penta is playing exactly the game they need to be playing against Empire, which is set yourself up in positions that are hard for Empire to get to, play your roam game as long as you possibly can, and in this case, even take out quite a few members of Empire along the way, especially critical ones that are going to be essential for the actual execute. And then by the time they get towards an actual execute, there's not really a lot left for them to do. You see a little bit of desperation in the fact that they're forced to choke points because they don't have the utility to do otherwise, and then just getting picked off because the preparation for Penta is there, and low time left from Empire every time.
And you saw the push by Joystick. He went into CEO to fight the castle. The smoke was already in to kind of clear the fact that Hungry is in Janitor alone. Hungry realizes that he can't really win the fight because the smoke's going to take way too long for him to wait for it to clear, and just drops down to open area, stays in there.
Speaking of open area,
yep, that's the site we're going to get. It's definitely an unusual site, but I think some teams have kind of found a way to really play it, and generally, I want to call it the spread the butter.
Yeah.
Play.
I like the addition of Clash to it is interesting. Now, Castle is a big part of it as well, but having a movable defensible position, or even one that could play upstairs to delay them as long as possible, like enemy could be doing here in stock, I think will be pretty useful. If enemy can stay alive for a good period of time now that the Capitau's not in play and it's just the Zofia to counter him, I guess sort of the Thatcher as well, I suppose. I think this could delay them again long enough that by the time they finally get top floor control, they don't have enough time left to execute once again. I don't even know if Joystick's Jackal is going to be doing a whole lot for him here, as they're going to be somewhat predictable in what positions they're going to be playing. And they're going to be playing in open area, they're going to be playing above open area, and they're going to be playing a bit in archives. There's not usually a lot of other positions other than maybe people rotating all the way down to the basement. So I think this is going to be unpredictable, and I got to say, this is Penta doing exactly what they should be doing to counter Empire.
Empire will, as usual, try to clear the top floor before they come on down, and it's really what you're looking for. You need to have top floor control to allow you just to open up extra holes, use the Zofia breaching charges, use the ITA that Joystick is bringing on the Jackal, and you also open up the hatches. You're trading or in the hallway. You already hear a lot of utility being used in the back by Empire to open up some extra holes. Karjek that used one of his breaching charges to carve a rotation hole into CEO from Janitor, and yet another bit of explosive being used, and EMP thrown away. And Penta's play with the Clash usually, if you look at Border and their history with it, they've been pretty effective with it. So I wouldn't be surprised if enemies able to play the whole crowd control game pretty effectively here.
I like Joystick trying to hunt down archives here to try and make sure this is secure. Unfortunately, the beepers are going to give him away if he goes in. But this is an important position to secure because this is usually the retreat area once they start going into archives. And that's going to pin down the Legion, who actually tries to take shots out there. This is an important fight, though. If he can win this fight, that starts to get a good flank position onto Penta, starts to force them into positions where they have to turtle and hunker down a bit more. Unfortunately, that's the Clash. So he's going to get peeked pre-fired, and that's just going to give his position away. So again, that Clash being crucial to this, they don't really have a lot of utility for it, especially without that Capitau. Looking good for Penta, and they've already burned off 2 minutes. Very little accomplished by Empire other than slightly surrounding the area.
We still have the ability to move in from archives, and more of these footsteps being tagged here by Joystick, but you can't really do anything with it because everybody's sitting behind a reinforced wall, and there's still one player as well that's just playing by the main stairs all the way down from the basement. So it's a very difficult position to fight. Kajeka's trying to play exactly against this angle, but he's not really able to find anybody in here. And even if he expends all his utility, he'll always be fighting against a tough opponent. Now that's the Legion of Blast. Down on the floor, Locke looking on down. No! Pass is just looking all the way up. And at least there's Sir Boss right behind him to support. Joystick will find one, able to fire into the second, and will down and remove Ravanas with the help of Scyther. Enemy with a refrag onto Scyther, just using the SBSMG at full auto, something we did not have Most of the time here in Season 9, pre-fire in from Sir Boss will take down Shepard. Diffuser needs to be picked up, and the plant needs to happen ASAP. Joystick, that's not where you can plant. He has to go all the way to the side, and no time left for Joystick to get it all down. Penta will win the round here in open area with a 1v3. Oh my.
What we're missing from Empire, so Empire is known for one thing. They're smooth attacks. They have a plan, they steamroll over you, they get to site, they either kill you all or plant. What we're not seeing from Empire is that. We're seeing them trying to adapt constantly to what we're seeing come out from Penta. It's definitely Penta playing the smart way to play it. Now, they're not always winning their gunfights, they're losing some situations like the Legion on the stairs, but then they're getting traded back. Sir Boss with some great plays that round especially, some great flanks, but it's just similar to the situation we just saw with G2. The fluidity coming out from the defense is completely countering these semi-hardline attack strats. This is the meta to take down the Giants, it seems, is to just play in a way they don't expect, but you play very fluid, very reactive. You heard what we were talking about with Secretly, for example, the way he was talking about, oh, we didn't really have a plan for it, we just played our play style, and that's exactly what's coming out of Penta. I'm sure they've got plans, but they're adapting very quickly to wherever Empire is showing up at. And Empire seem like they're just like, okay, let's get some map control and try and force our way over there and hopefully kill everyone along the way. It's just, again, it's echoes of what we just saw from G2. Speaking of echoes, still going to have the echo in play, but this time a Vigil coming out from enemy. And again, that's going to try and thwart them. The Jackal is going to be his natural enemy. So if Jackal can find enemies, well, the enemy of enemy, if he can find
the enemy of enemy.
I didn't even do that one on purpose.
The enemy of enemy is my friend, Right.
If he can find just some footprints of that Vigil, that will definitely help a lot. But at the same time, he'll still just be running around, probably just distracting him, because you're going to want to kill him while you have that footprint tracking. So it's going to put actual pressure on them to try and chase him down, which in this case, if they don't have the people in the right position, it might not work out. And there's the footprints right there. So he's got Vigil's footprints now. So it's all up to enemy to just delay time. In the meantime, Scyther is actually taking some damage.
However, we haven't really seen any Lion used in this matchup just yet. He's been very prevalent for a lot of teams. For example, on Bank, he makes a lot of sense. But one thing that not everybody kind of remembers is the fact that Lion does not affect Vigil nowadays. So even if Vigil has ERC open, it's fine. He doesn't get spotted at all with it.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely going to be a problem for him. They also even have the pulse to be able to anticipate the approach coming out here. This is definitely just turning out to be a much different round than that first round that we saw where Empire just kind of steamrolled in, had that Capitao do their job. Now it's just Penta running around the map, doing basically whatever they want unpunished, as it's already almost a minute and a half into the round. And so far, Empire's the only one to have taken damage both on Scyther and Dan. A lot of closed wooden barricades too, interestingly enough, just to slow down Empire. This is brilliant play, I think, for Penta.
And look at what Shepard's doing. He's continuing to look into Archive. He's unsure where his opponents are. Even at the halfway point here in the round, Empire just afraid to do anything so far.
Where's the superior droning? There's no drone denial coming up from Penta. They've got no mute, no Mozzie, nothing to really stop them from being droned more effectively. Are they just relying on Joystick?
Definitely weird here to see the way that Empire are playing in this situation. Karjeka will continue to move on in. He's coming in from the sewers through the tunnel. The area is just completely opened. Joystick's going to tag the Vigil. That's something that at least he can do. Blast is watching on his own, and Joystick is going to go back up into open area and try to use the opening in the hatch here done by his teammate to his advantage. Maybe he shoots all the way into the foot, but barely any damage done to Sir Boss. Unfortunate there.
Got some strong boots.
It's weird that the SMG, the 9mm bullet, does more damage than, you know, this fully automatic 5.56 rifle. But hey, who am I to know that? Shepard going for the plant is knowing that Torcell just in, and you're sacrificing a Valkyrie here to play the Vigil, and the Diffuser's just going to be set. Revon too slow on the reaction. And because there's no mute, because there's no Valkyrie, the Diffuser's just going to get set, and Empire's just going to keep on watching it.
Revan, just slap your forehead. What was that?
Scyther's going to get shot down at least. So that's one flank that Blast will not have to worry about. Revon will find another one on Dan. The rotation in. Karjeka will get one kill. Shepard for a second. Now turn it into a 3v3. Now everybody trying to fire down into Joystick here, and he'll find Hungry. But will it be enough? Two last players trying to walk on in. The Echo spotted and taken away. Skadasheka, enemy's the last alive. There's little time left and won't be able to finish it at this point. He pre-fires, but there's the hatch to watch as well. And that's how Empire does it. Finally, round 5 will go their way.
I hate to be mean, but Revan lost him that round. You saw him getting on and off his heartbeat sensor and then staring at the thermite and still, like, you see him staring at the heartbeat that he knows or should know is the pulse. Hey, they're planting, and just does nothing till the plant's already off. And he's like, oh, I'll throw C4 now when I know no one's going to be there. Just a big what moment for Revan. Unfortunately cost them the round. I mean, I hate to pin it on one person, but you saw it. You saw the same thing I did. Just was ineffective. But either way, that's only one round there again for Empire. Now, they are going to be bringing out the Mozzie this time to deny the droning. We'll see if they actually stick that or they 6-pick off. There we go. Again, just trying to hide the black eyes. They really depend on those. And honestly, it's working. That is part of why Penta is able to play as flexible as they've been able to play, is having the extra intel from those black eyes. Got to imagine maybe occasionally from the goo mines and the yokai as well, but combined with the pulse. We'll see if Revan can do a better job this round, though. He can make up for last round. I'll give him a chance, because then they'd still be entering the second half 4-2. Advantage not a big deal, but he's got to do it. I mean, it didn't even look like Empire was going to get to sight the way things were playing out that last round, but they did manage to and execute. So Empire not really changing anything up here, which is always interesting, just because they don't usually change up a ton as a team, but maybe they need to in this particular matchup because it seems like the well-oiled machine is just grinding gears.
Yeah, as Flynn would say, the Russian machine. I've heard him say that more than once.
It's like he's the robot.
He is. Actually, he is. Have you seen him on broadcast?
Way to give it away.
The reptiles are taking over.
Yeah.
I watched this episode of, is it Love and Robots or something? And there's a part where the yogurt is taking over, and it's just hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like a Black Mirror type of thing.
No, I saw that too.
Yeah,
that was
it's
a good
hilarious.
One. Well, unfortunately, yogurt doesn't play anymore.
That's a joke for EU people. He plays in CL, I guess. Or trying to play in CL.
Yeah, unfortunate for him. Well, Joystick trying to do his job again, but unfortunately tracking people is not leading to kills. He's just pinging people for fun at this point. And they're just playing smart, no vigil this round, but they're still just kind of running around doing their thing. And especially when they're going to be playing Turtle down on their last defense on CCTV. Is Scyther just trying to draw at this point? I mean, I'm not sure the Breaching Torch is his best friend. He doesn't seem to be getting a lot of mileage out of it. Just not very effective. Again, with the wooden barricades on the door there for the server so that the Pulse can play extra aggressive. Revan hopefully not going to overextend himself and make another forehead moment there, but looks like the Droney coming out is going to pressure him out. Finally, they've got, of course, the Echo and Garage. Joystick's going to spot that, but no one's ever really trying to pressure Garage to try and fight that Echo. Just maybe a little unfortunate. Joystick, though, going to be the one getting tracked by that goo mine. Still got his smokes in tow. Try and help with this plant. They are at least 5 alive getting towards site. They've got control of server stairs. They're in okay position. Shepard just needs to open the wall. But they don't have the same level of utility with the Capitao, I don't think, to be able to counter this as much. They can still fire the lifelines over into the red hallway, as obviously there's no mirror to be playing that, and they have the smokes from Joystick. But a minute left is the best part of this here, because now they have time to try and position, and maybe it's going to be down to Karjeka catching some of those peaks again, and Scyther getting creative with the torch.
It's a really big hole here that is opening up
what an artist.
The Breaching Torch.
Oh, here we go. This is the play. Joystick with the rotate for the Echo.
That's exactly what you need. There's the big breach here from the Thermite that'll allow Team Empire to go in for the plant. They have an extra hole, small friend next to it, as Bob Ross would say, and then Joystick to rotate around through Garage. You can find one kill off of it. There you go. Sir Boss is taken away. That's the Echo. Should be a second one here for him to spot if he just sprays all the way down into the red hallway. It's either spotting one in the back and he's just falling away from him. Revan taken away is before any Nitro Cell could be used, and a drop. Best Hungry away. Enemy will find one kill, but a diffuser is already set. A bit too late here for Enemy. Turns it into a 3v1. It's definitely doable at this point. He has to worry about one in the back. Headshot onto Scyther. 3K will have to ace the round to really win it out. The players from Empire already in position for the second time in a row. It's Empire that'll just play the hatch perfectly. And they'll find one more to put on the board.
Well, rough start, but it still came up to a tie situation, 3-3 in the end. So not bad for Empire. That was a much better round. I liked the late round rotate against the Echo because he knew you'd be distracted. The extra time they had, for the first time in a round, they actually had extra time to play with. That's what gave Joystick the opportunity to rotate around, as he'd seen the Echo on drone earlier. Much, much better position to be in. And that was the thing. They didn't have the Capitao to counter the red hallway, but it's like, well, you don't need the Capitao. Go around and just shoot them from the garage. And unfortunately, there just wasn't a lot to really stop it. Really what needed to be happening there was just better preparation because you had the Echo sitting there on his yokai. Eventually, he was alerted probably by a black eye from one of his teammates that someone was coming, and he eventually got off to try and pre-fire the Joystick, but too little too late, couldn't win the fight. So much, much better played. However, we are switching sides. Now we're going to see a Mozzie come out from Dan. That should be interesting. There's still going to be an Echo as well, and of course they're going to start CCTV. So we'll see if Shepard can stay alive in the garage, as I imagine he's going to be playing there. That's the safest place to play. But Dan could, for example, put a Mozzie on the entrance to the garage, try and deny them to be able to drone in there entirely, force them to use maybe the main stairs.
Yeah, but I mean, usually you don't see too many drones that enter in from the outside into garage.
They do spawn right there.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
so you can have to have it like early on in the round.
Yeah, that's going to be hard to catch that in time.
Yeah, that's really the big problem. But Empire had, I believe, Karjeka that played the Mozzie. Let me see. I have some of that information around here. Maybe I can use it to my...
Yes, it was Karjeka. You were talking about before? Yeah, yes. It was Karjeka that played that.
So,
or the Mozzie.
Empire Vitality, that was only a few days ago on Monday.
He played a very good Mozzie. So
yep.
He was able to see Dan switch.
He was able to catch at least one drone per round. But when you're playing on Pro League level, one drone caught,
that's
can
huge.
just it can really flip the round.
It's so much better than just destroying or mute jamming a drone. So much better. And you can get 3. Wow. That's I mean, like I said before, you can literally, as one operator, have more drones than the attackers can. Because each one of them can only have 2. Mozzie can get 3 drones. That's insane. You combine that with Echo with 2 drones. Like, you've got 5 drones on defense.
And then you put in a mute and that's no drones.
Oh. Why you gotta do that? So.
Sorry, Rob. We didn't call you a robot.
Sure we didn't. Next time we'll speak in 1s and 0s. Spell it out for him.
All right. Blast moving on down. He's running the Jackal this time. Still no Lion play in this.
Ooh, all 3 pests are out, though. Yeah, Lion would be good on Bank here, just because, at least it would have been good for Empire, just the way they were getting kind of stopped by Penta in terms of roam play. But enemy looking to try and take control of server stairs early, and really no resistance coming out from Empire. They're really feeling confident, I guess, in their defense downstairs and turtling a little bit more, but it's interesting just giving those server stairs up so Serbas can go down there and start to open things up. He is a little bit slow, though, but it looks like they might get a similar position to what Empire did last time in terms of getting towards getting that wall open early. But Serbas instead rotating around.
And Joystick turning in as the rest of Penta continues to stay even outside the building.
Joystick on Jaeger.
No, the Jaeger on his own.
Oh, careful!
Hungry!
Hold your fire!
Okay.
This is a warning shot. Don't surprise me again.
Trying to prepare for it as Serbas will put his thermite charge on. Huh. Okay, it's an interesting side to open up. Not the usual one. And there's still the Maverick available, so with no shield, this is all for Hungry basically to use, but you could have used the Maverick in this position anyway, so I want to see where the thermite will really be walking in, if just not directly through the main door. The Yokai drone will come in, but Ravon is already set on the floor. The Yokai did not spot him. Great play there from the Maverick, and it's just reading the usual plays of Joystick so perfect.
Yeah, that was a fantastic by Revon. Execute actually coming down here, but the Planter still left alive despite the kill from Dan.
Pre-fire in from Scyther. He already used his Nitro Cell, but he's going to get burned away and taken out by Hungry. The P10 Roni is trying to do as much damage as it can in the hands of Dan there, but the 20 rounds in the magazine, they're not going to be great for you later on as you just keep on firing. Shepard trying to support his teammate here, but he's all on his own with the Echo, but the pre-fire, Karjeka. He holds the perfect cross angle with his teammate on the Echo, and because you're all on your own, there's not much that you really can do when you're left there. Penta lose the round to Empire. Finally, the Russians grab the advantage again off of their opponents.
Ooh, first time seeing CEO this match here. We didn't see that at all from Penta. And an IQ coming out here. So getting a little bit more flexible still, bringing the Capitao and the Jackal. So very, very different in terms of what they're playing versus Empire, bringing out a bit more utility in that case. Empire, though, that last round, I think Joystick being ineffective in delaying or at least living long enough to be able to be useful post-round, come around from the server stairs from behind, like you said, too predictable. I think that nearly cost them the round in some extent because they just ignored Joystick up until the point where they just killed him. Because
that's what he always does.
Yeah, and because he was ineffective, Penta were just like, we could focus entirely on our execute. Now, that came down to a complete slugfest in terms of who won that, some utility being used as well, C4s, things like that, but just battling back and forth in terms of trying to get that plant down. The Capitao was helpful in terms of trying to help with that, but the fact they weren't able to actually stick the plant completely, I think in the end just ultimately costed them. But also, Karzeka being a fantastic shot as usual, Dan trying his best. We will see Dan on the dock this time, something very typical to see from an upstairs defense on CEO here. We'll still have the Echo, though, to try and stop things out. Not sure how useful the Jackal will be depending on how much they're going to roam off this. There's usually a lot of site play on this particular site, but they interestingly opened up the entire wall there for, well, not the entire wall, but a good chunk of the wall for Conference Room. Is an interesting choice to be able to play that. Not sure how that's going to play out in terms of whether or not they can be used against them, but considering he's playing in the closet, that gives him some extra angles to play. That could be pretty useful considering he's got his own yokai drone to help spot for him over here. So I think that's very smart. He's going to be the one to play that. Now, of course, you could always end up in a death trap, especially with a Capitao on board in terms of hiding in that closet, because you really can be left with nowhere to run if they could trap you or pinch you from both sides. But with the open conference wall, it actually makes it harder for them to approach from certain sides because the angles actually start to work against them in their approach, not to mention the yokai drone and the double barbed wire going up to the top of the stairs for any kind of try and fast run up towards the main office entrance there. So overall, I liked the setup from Karzeka to be able to hold that top of that stairs. So it's down to Hungry, for example, and some smart play and good fragging to even try and take that point. Joystick already taking a bit of damage, though. Not great.
At least Dan can maybe put him up in max HP again. The whole setup from Penta is to try to deny Joystick from having any sort of effect on the round, right? That's usually something that many teams learn the hard way. Enemy trying to burn off any ADSs and Janitor. And that's all flashbangs that have been used in. And continues to drone around.
Doc stemmed up Joystick. Needs to be at full health. It's very important.
Zemakina.
Hopefully he'll be doing some good distracting, but we'll see. It looks like they're playing very site heavy right now. And Execute's starting to get towards play here in terms of the fact that they're starting to surround the bomb site. But nothing open just yet. Sir Boss, the Thermite, actually has already taken some damage. If he falls, they won't be able to open up the wall, except for with the Maverick.
It's already open. One part of it is already open.
Well, there you go then.
That's why. It was so surprising inside. I'm like, huh, how is this wall already open?
There you go.
It was so effective at just doing it.
Well done by Sir Boss, then well played. Unfortunately, they're not really doing much with it yet, but look at them surrounding. The room's playing entirely from... Just one runner jump out could potentially slay most of the team if they had the timing or positioning, but sadly they do not. Everyone upstairs still, except for Joystick, so he's going to stop this ATM push that's actually starting to come. Fortunately, they look through the windows and see him in the lobby. Ravon's going to try and chase him down and maybe catch him on top of the stairs. And there you go. Oh, nope, those metal bars and the pillars. Joystick wins the fight, and that's important there. Not that the IQ is necessary now, but look at this. Joystick now in a position to deny a lot of the repels. That's perfect. They're going to have to try and fight him now, and that distracts them from actually fighting in there, but no, blast to take him down. So, traded back. Time, though, burnt off in the meantime. 23 seconds left to actually make this happen. Dan trying to deny from the long angle. Capitao firebolts and smoke coming out.
Dan on his own, but shot down by Blast. He just walks on up the spiral staircase. Karzeka already shutting him down. 12 seconds left on the clock here as Shepard will turn around to the site, but enemy perfectly done. Walks into Janitor, finds the kill. Karzeka is just going to stop the diffuser from being set. Sir Boss will have to go for it. Karzeka's all on his own. He's got one yokai drone to go, and he fires in and wins the round. Perfectly done by the Echo. Just hiding his second yokai drone. Very well done there.
A yokai clutch. That's one of the most frustrating things to happen as an attacker when you think you've got them all, because the IQ was dead, right? So Joystick killing the IQ of Ravon made sure they couldn't spot that second yokai. And you're like, oh, cool, we're going to plant. We're planting. Awesome. We got all the man advantage. You're covering me. But you know Echo's the last left alive, and you're just like, please God, don't let there be another yokai. And then it just comes up like practically out of the desk drawer like, hello. And that's the end of that round for them. That's all it takes. First Kaed coming out here along with the Mozzie. So the last two seasons of operators here. coming up. We'll see the same lineup coming out from Penta, but Karjeka actually going to sneak, taking a page out of Penta's playbook, and 6 picking to the Valkyrie.
Just grabbing that extra information. I mean, the fact that the Echo was still somehow alive in the elevator on his own, that's something that you're not really expecting.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He set up so much for that.
He got the kill and then walked away to make sure that nobody pushes him, and he had more than enough time to set his both 2 yokais that are just so sneaky.
Also, Joystick playing the lobby, I think, helped keep him alive too, because it made sure it was very difficult for them to even try and get up to where the Echo was. Just let him completely focus on his yokai play, not having to worry about constantly trying to switch between the two, especially in a clutch. So overall, that was some great play by Empire, although it got very close to being lost as the man advantage was hugely in Penta's favor. We'll see how this round goes, though. They're going to be defending Tellers. Again, that involves defending CEO. Though it might be pretty useful in this. We'll see where those electric claws go. One has already been used. Got to imagine for downstairs on one of the walls, probably the Tellers wall facing into the lobby, I would imagine, but you never know. We will see some of the players going to the lobby, though, of course. Whenever you're attacking Tellers, always good to take the lobby, unless you're doing one of those crazy suicidal archive rushes. Those are always fun. But you never know. We'll see. They're going to get some droning first. And, of course, you want to get a Jackal in a position where they might have actually walked to get those footprints, because they're unlikely to have walked near the ATMs in the lobby, so you're not going to get a ton of use out of them on that entrance. But they have lobby control already, as most of Empire's pushed pretty far back onto the east side of the map. Downstairs, not a lot of control upstairs either, surprisingly. So if Penta play this with heavy manpower and some good intel, I think they could take the top floor fairly quickly.
Oh, enemy, great spot here. Wonderful to take down Scyther and the castle away. It's not really the most important operator, that's for sure, but it really reduces the potential for top floor roam.
And Jackal tracking on Joystick as well. This is not good for him. He's the last defender upstairs here. No, he's not. Never mind. He's got Dan as well.
Dan is always around here to support and blast, immediately shutting down Joystick. He's trying to take down one enemy eliminated, but Sir Boss already finding Karjeka. That leaves Dan at half HP and Shepard alive here on the smoke, alone downstairs. A breaching charge will make short work of the castle barricade, and Dan might be able to find the IQ actually. Or any attacker on the rotate. Pre-fire down as Hungry will take 1 slug to the face, but he remains alive for now, that's for sure. Should be utility here from Penta Sports to know that there's the bottom of that wall completely opened up, and that's why you should never be reinforcing it when you're in the defense. At least most of the time, Thermite Charge will go off and Sir Boss will have a way to walk into the site, and so much time left for Empire.
Yeah, this is Penta just going to be able to walk all over him, especially with Dan dead now. Shepard can't even begin to delay long enough these smokes. Plant's just going to go down on the Teller side. Shepard can try and retake it best, but he has nowhere to go. Completely trapped. I mean, if he can clutch this out, it's a miracle.
Shepard is just taking so much damage from every single angle, and Blast walks on in. Blast is just doing so much work here for Penta Sports. And here you are. That's the effect that he has on the round. Penta just outplaying Empire in every way, shape, or form. This is a repeat of our previous game. The 2 titans of the region so far are just really struggling today. And Penta are just looking to put a few more rounds on the board to take it home.
Well, unlike that previous one, at least Empire is still in the lead by 1 point, and that's something that G2 couldn't really say of Coastline. But we're going to go back down to CCTV, a site that they've won successfully. Tellers was their 3rd bomb site and not their strongest. Their big weakness, of course, was their upstairs defense was just not great. Dan did at least manage to get 1 kill out of it. He's going to 6 pick from the Mozzie to the Kaid. And we'll see whether or not that's going to be useful on CCTV here. I got to imagine, though, you almost might get more use out of the Mozzie than you would get out of the Kaid, just in terms of denying their drones or capturing their drones that try and come in, so you could potentially use them against them to spot some of the positions they might be playing, or even spot when they go for the plant, to be able to use it almost like an evil eye in there, because of course Maestro is banned, so it's a way for you to be able to watch when they go for the plant, because of course even if smoke goes up, you know they're pretty much going to be planting in it. But that being said, they do have the pulse to be able to take those looks for them, to be able to see whether or not someone is going to be going for that plant. Hopefully do a better job than Revan did in terms of calling that out. And of course, you've got the Echo doing his thing, going to be hanging out in the garage very predictably. It's pretty much his job at this point. Plenty of same utility here coming out from Penta as well. They didn't really see a need to change out too much. And I got to imagine Empire, again, not going to defend the server stairs too well, because they just kind of give it away for free. And that gives Penta a lot of extra time to play with. Joystick needs to stay alive for a while this time and try and delay somehow. He needs to try and delay them maybe on the server stair side, or at least control of some of the map. But for the moment, he's still downstairs. So this is, I don't know, this is going to be a tricky one for them to pull off here. Joystick's really thinking, oh, he sees the drone coming in from Sir Boss in the sewers and thinks they're going to go for the thermite rush into the servers to try and go for the wall play. But nope, he thinks better of it. Sees there's like 3 in there. Says, that's not the party for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and go around. But he's still going to go around for the server side, just taking the longer, smarter route. But that also means Joystick should rotate out if they're not going to be pushing that side, because otherwise he's kind of wasting his usefulness. But Dan, again, doesn't really want to fight it. Now the Kite, I guess it looks like it was just mostly for this hatch. He did use both Electric Claws already, though, and it's not going to do a whole lot of good, of course, because Maverick is just going to make short work of it.
There's something, at least you're trying to leg your opponents, but if you really want to work the time, you should have already had burn as much time as possible on the top floor of Rome, right? But that's not what happened here for Empire. So this is merely a distraction. It's not really going to do too much. Allow enemy already to penetrate the site here and grab some utility off of it. Quick peek around to find... Not sure what was thrown here on
I think he was looking for the yokai underneath the desk.
Possibly, but maybe it was on the other side of the desk?
I think it was, yeah. I don't think you could get to it from there, but he was doing a good job identifying all the gadgets, at least.
Yeah, it's something to keep in the back of your head, and everything should have been spotted and at least marked down.
So they don't get a repeat of CEO.
And there you go. That's what Shepard's doing. Exactly what you mentioned, Devin. Gonna go out for the first yokai. I'm not sure if he has a second one somewhere to use. Dan waiting for the information with Scyther, who's just locking everything down with his pulse, just playing inside of Gold Vault. It's your standard position really to be running, and for Penta they wish they had an EMP really to use in this situation to combo with the IQ, but that's why they bring the IQ, because in their mind it's like, you know what, I don't really want to weigh too heavily on our operator setup.
Well, that's at least one of the smokes coming out here. They've got a C4 from Dan, as well as I imagine Scyther's probably got his as well. Interestingly, he's playing up much closer to Gold Vault, which we saw Revan playing a bit back so he could rotate faster. Caps out, though, doing a great job of burning Dan out. That's going to delay for the potential plan here. He's getting the C4 ready. The drone actually spotting him as well. Scyther off his sensor, not catching him, but Shepard in the meantime catching Blaz means no more footprints getting tracked. Joystick now could be a big game changer late into the round, but Karjeka take it down. Revan.
And remember, as you said, Kaed now runs Nitro Cell, and not the dual impact that we saw him before. 12 seconds left, and the push has to come in here from Penta. Dan will land a 2K on Hungarian enemy. Sir Boss will rush in to find Dan, but another Nitro Cell will throw Sir Boss the other side of the room here in the server. Well done. He's utilizing the Kaed as best as they can. Empire, well done to put themselves on the 6th round.
Yeah. Wow. Just 3 C4 kills in a row. You did not want to walk into that room. That was just explosive death after explosive death. It seemed like we saw Penta get up to the point they needed to get to and have extra time. They just didn't know how to execute it on at that point. It was just being too well defended, too well denied. And they knew there was the Yokai drone. And I think that was a big part of the problem too, is Echo spotting IQ spotting the Echo drone, the Yokai underneath the desk. He knew they could have a repeat of what happened in CEO, where it was hiding under a desk in a position where they couldn't shoot it, and it could come up and stop the plant at any time. Yeah. And they didn't have anyone to rotate around right then to try and stop the Echo from playing his pot. And Dan, with just a really well-timed C4, much better job, I think, from the pulse play from Scyther, but also Dan not dying to the Captal Firebolt, managing to get away from it was a big play there. We'll see how they defend CEO the second time, though. Last time they barely won it off of that Yokai play. See if that ends up being a big factor this time as well. Same lineup coming out here from Penta as pretty much the same thing coming out from Empire. No one really wanted to change too much in terms of operators, more down to execution. They are setting up the destruction of the walls again so that Karjeka can have those angles. Top floor is doing the same double barbed wire reinforcement. They are definitely setting up the same way in terms of trying to make sure that Karjeka can stay alive long time. So I'm curious to see if Joystick's gonna be able to do his thing. Now they know they repel like crazy on the wall outside the windows for CEO. If they can counter that or be set up for countering that, that could be amazing. I mean, I suppose they could even threaten to come out sewers by just getting marked, focus all their attention on the sewer entrance for a second. There's a couple ways they could play it, but the lobby control, I think, is going to be the big thing because of those windows.
Yeah, not only that, but the Yokai drone. I mean, we saw how it single-handedly won the round for Empire previously. So the big deal is to not allow Penta to kind of turn their window control into actual frags. And if you can actually at least lock that down, then it'll work out very well for you. And Joystick, he's been shut down very effectively here by Penta Sports. So if that were to continue, it gets very complicated for Empire.
Well, it's not a great start for him. He's already down to about 75 HP. Doing at least checking the cameras to see where he can rotate, but he's not really freely rotating right now. He's not really doing the joystick thing. Now that he's got the information, though, he's going to start to do that. He can use the downstairs to rotate around the different stairwells, but he's got to manually clear it. Doesn't have a drone or anything to do this for him, so he's just going to crouch walk around. But if he can get in a good flank position here, that can help. But with everyone mostly outside on the rappels when they go for the attack, there's only so many ways he can do anything about that because, of course, there's only kind of one angle from the lobby. However, Karjeka, of course, getting to stay alive. Everyone from Empire just turtling up at the moment, trying to delay because they've already burned about half the round. No one's really done any damage outside of Joystick taking a bit, but they are working towards getting the wall open at least, if they haven't already. I'm not sure about it this time. And it looks like they have. So Sir Boss, very good at getting that done in an expedient manner. They are droning as well. He's a Hungry's drone, and they're just trying to get an idea of what's going on inside A, and they're doing the same thing. 3-man rappel outside again.
It's a lot of dedication on it. Penta have yet to translate that into a kill. An Empire at any point in time, they can run Joystick to the main lobby and from there find a kill on at least one of the repellers. It's probably something that he's trying to do right now as you see him hovering around the side. Waiting for some information. There's nobody dealing with him, but Blast, very good there. With the drone, should be able to spot him. Enemy will find a kill on Shepard, eliminating him the smoke. But Dan with the refrag on enemy will take down at least the Maverick on the opposite side.
Yeah, the Joystick just going to be playing a game of death with Blast. Loses it. Now that means that Repel Control is going to stay in the plant. Is going to go down from Sir Boss because there's not a whole lot to oppose it outside of Yoke's. But there we go. Soft wall, perfectly used. Scyther taking down Sir Boss.
Blast with one more on Scyther. It's a 1 versus 3. Dan on his own. He'll find one kill. Getting shot from behind. Finds one on the rappel, but he needs to fire onto them, and Ravon will win the round. Penta Sports, 1 round away from a tie here against Empire.
Death by Spider-Man. Just all the rappels coming on. There's only so much you can do to fight that if they just have so much manpower in there. And I think that's what's interesting about Penta's attack is they just line the windows with guns at that point. So that room is just a death trap. It's like a big kill box inside the CEO's office. So if you try and enter it to try and fight them, you're going to die because you can't fight them from any other angles for the most part. Yeah, there's a few angles you can get from the other room, but it's tricky because of the way that the different walls kind of block some of the lines of sight. And so it just becomes a death trap. Once the wall is open as well, they can just kind of creep in or even repel in with one of the ones near the wall if they wanted to. Ooh, a 6-pick there from enemy. Going from Maverick finally to something different to the Nomad, and then Scyther sneaking in. The Valkyrie basically in the same way from the castle that we saw from Penta, but this time it's for CEO. They're going to try a second time. Outside of Joystick, though, playing lobby, they just don't seem to have much of a counter to this here. See if they can manage to do something different, because otherwise I wouldn't blame Penta for repeating the process. Also, they could take advantage of the Nomad to make it even harder for them to try and retake that room. We'll see if... I mean, honestly, the big thing for me here would be if you can kill Sir Boss before he can get that wall open or while he's trying to get that wall open, that could be a big play for Empire. But that might depend on Joystick rotating around or some kind of drone denial, which they don't have. They do have Dan on the dock, which will be helpful if, say, Joystick gets injured early again. He could get healed up this time. But for Empire here, this is kind of do or die because if you don't get this round, you end up with a tie situation and lose 2 points. And this is a team that went flawless for quite a long time during Season 9, the entire first half, and to already potentially draw on your first match. Now, they can't lose, so they're already in better position than G2 was. But still, Enemy and Blast, though, 12 and 10 kills respectively. A lot of double digits there. Karjeka, though, he's showing why he's slowly becoming the star of the show, and we're talking about him more than Joystick half the time now.
And this is something that Team Empire and all of his teammates were saying about Dan, is that they want to turn him into the superstar of the team. That's something that they were very heavily focusing on in Milan, and well, he definitely shows the amount of potential that he has. And this is, again, the young blood in this year entering Pro League. And Blast is behind a reinforced wall here, but Blast is expecting maybe somebody moving through. Okay.
It's like, I know there's got to be someone there. Showing it.
That's the man he's waiting for.
Yeah, Shepard just chilling. He's in the janitor's closet just breathing in those cleaning fluids. Joystick, though, in the meantime, going to the kitchen, grab a snack while Sir Boss watches for him, because that's what I was saying. Sir Boss needs to kind of get laid down, but there's also the IQ of Ravon still thinking about hunting Joystick. But in the meantime, Sir Boss is going to go for what he's been doing every round, and the timing here from Joystick needs to happen here, but unfortunately, as he hears the exothermic charge go off, he knows it's too little, too late, but they also are going to be a little confident in this, thinking they can sneak around. Oh, he does see one in the window, but no, the shot is going to give away his position. Enemy in the meantime, here's that shot. Now he's going to go on drone, looking to see, he's going to jump it over and look for Joystick to make sure that that's secure over there. While Ravon tries to take the time while they have a little bit extra time to identify what they're going to be messing with, because they know Echo is still in play. There it is.
He's still playing in the same position. I'm not sure if Penta really have noticed where that yokai is hiding.
Yeah. But
he's only been a problem for them in one round.
I feel like the best way you could take him is with an air jab almost. If you could get an air jab to jab him, they are going to start to open up more of the walls here, though, it looks like. And Karjeka actually playing a different position. He's not in the elevator this time. He's in stock.
It's definitely not a place he'll be expecting anyone to be. And Joystick will find one on Sir Boss. Finally, that's something you're waiting for.
A minute late, but
Sir Boss has already done his job.
Yeah. Well, you know what, though? That's one less person. That's the planter as well, so that would have dropped diffuser, so now enemy just picked it back up. That did delay their plant down to 30 seconds, though. Well, a two-man team, though, to go for this lobby push.
Nobody in so far, and Joystick will find another one on the boss. I think this is really turning the way of Empire. There's smoke being used on the outside. As enemy will find one on Dan, as Ravon will catch one up from below. Joystick eliminated, finally. But there's still yokais all the way around. Capital crossbow bolts have been used up, but nobody killed. Nitro Cell being chucked out here, but won't connect just yet. No, Ravon will shut down Shepard. Karjeka setting up for his yokai drone. Can he fire it down? Yes, and that'll be all she wrote. Ladies and gentlemen, Empire, a second week and a second play day, and a second hard-fought victory.
If anyone's wondering why Echo gets banned often, this match is a good demonstration. That right there is so hard to deal with.